Something that changed my life and defined my life happened when I was 16 years old. I met my husband, my future husband, at McDonald's on Missouri Boulevard in Jefferson City, Missouri. And I met when I was 16 and he was 18. We became friends, and a year later we started dating. By the time I was 19, we were married and we had our first baby on the way. And we've been married for 36 years. Completely changed my life in the most wonderful of all ways. And I can't imagine what my life would have been if that random occurrence hadn't happened.
So, did any of that affect the way that you acted beforehand?
Did it affect the way I acted before I met him?
Yes.
After I met him, we were just the two of us. I really stopped hanging out with my other friends. I just hung out with him, and we have been best friends and devoted to each other ever since. So I guess in that respect it changed me, and also gave me a really great foundation and safety net to be able to try different things and be confident that I could do them.
Did it change, did it break any bonds that you had before you met this guy?
Yes, it broke some bonds. My best friend and I were really, really close. After I met him, that relationship was changed forever. We gradually drifted apart after that.
So, after you met him, did you feel happy with all your choices, or did you regret something?
I'd say overall I feel happy with choices, but I think with every decision there are highs and lows on it. So I can't make a definitive that I'm happy with every decision from it. But overall, yes, it was a great decision.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Karofsky, I am 33, and a time that changed my life was when I was 22, and I became a Christian. I was not going to church at the time, and then my wife, who was my friend at the time, kind of talked to me about it. Then I started going back to church, and then I became a believer, and it changed my life.
Did this affect any way of life before? Anything you did before?
Yes, so I stopped living for myself and being super selfish. Not that I'm not selfish still, but I stopped living for myself. I remember about a year later, my older brother came up to me and said, "You're a different person. You're not the same person that you used to be." And he said it kind of as like a derogatory comment, but to me it actually came in as like a compliment and said, "Yep, you're right. I'm not the same person that I was."
Did your wife affect any of your decisions?
She was a big influencer on it. She would have been one of the people that originally encouraged me to go back to church. And then by going back to church and finding a different church, a Bible teaching church, is really the first time that I started to learn the gospel for what it actually was.
All right, thank you.
All right, defining moment as a teenager. It sounds kind of trite, but my senior year, I was at the state wrestling tournament. I was the number 3 wrestler in the state, and I had lost a match to a guy I shouldn't have lost to early on. And because that kind of deflated my ego quite a bit, I purposely lost the next match. I just wanted out of the tournament. And having felt so bad from that point on, I decided that I wasn't going to lose at anything, that no matter what, I was going to be exceedingly competitive. And at times that competitiveness got in the way a lot of times, and then just kind of choices from that would move me from one thing to another to try to be the best at something. If not, I try to be the best at something else, which kind of led me here to be one of the, to continue to try to be the best at what I do. So the feeling of giving up haunted me for quite a while, and I decided I was never going to feel that way again and not purposely put myself in that position.
Did wrestling ever affect anything beforehand? your schooling at all?
It didn't really affect my schooling, except for the fact you're gone a lot. It's, you know, because you miss a lot of school. But wrestling was always the one sport that kept me in shape from football, between football and track. And then when I became good at wrestling, it kind of, you know, it took on some importance. And I had some good coaches that really took an interest in me that said, instead of, you know, because when you're a big person or a heavyweight, you wrestle a particular way. And I had a great coach who said, quit thinking like that and wrestle and be, you know, something better than you are. And I always tell kids that you can be greater than you are if you just really kind of put your mindset to that. And it took a coach or a teacher to really instill that in me. You know, you aren't defined by your physical being, but rather by what you can try to accomplish and put your mind to. So that really took on a huge meaning for me, and really made wrestling kind of a nice kind of way to take on the world, I guess, and be a little more physical than sport, and then say track did. I mean, sports was huge in my life. One thing that kept me pretty well sane growing up.
All right. Thank you.
Awesome.